It's the Samsung Galaxy S24 FE after about 3 days of use now. And this is a very complicated video to do because there's two parts to it. Number one, we have to go over, is this device any good? Is the hardware something worth buying? The answer to that's going to be yes. We're going to go over several things on this device, but I have enjoyed my time with it so far. It is a smooth experience. It is a good experience. And in a lot of ways, Samsung has made some significant improvements over, I think, just the devices that it's released so far this year and really given us a fantastic experience with the S24 FE. The second part of it, which whether you like it or not is just as important as the first, is whether it's worth it for $650. And that is where the conversation gets tricky because I don't think so. Now, that doesn't mean you'll never buy this device. That's why the first part of the conversation matters. Because Samsung, Black Friday, there's going to be a sale for this, $450. If that happens, run, don't walk. Pick it up. Buy two of them. If you have a fantastic carrier deal, if T-Mobile or Boost or Metro or somebody is offering this, $100, $200 with a 3-year contract, absolutely. Then it becomes worth it. So it's bizarre, but let's go over the whole thing. Number one, the hardware. Really like it. Good feel in the hand. They've maintained kind of like it looks like every other Galaxy device, okay? Which I maintain helps the mid-range devices more than it helps the flagship devices because it kind of cheapens the flagship devices a little bit, but it makes the mid-range devices seem more premium. So you've got the glass, you got the aluminum frame, IP68 dust and water resistant, feels fantastic. It's got the very flat front edge, front glass on it, but it does this weird thing where it's very flat on the front, but it curves a little bit on the back. Not really a curve, but it just kind of, the aluminum is a little softer on the back, so it feels really good cradling it. It almost feels like what Google had done with the Pixel 8 Pro, where the back was kind of curved. That was more dramatic, but the back was softer, and then the front had the flat glass. Really like that. Fingerprint sensor, super snappy. I want to go over the display, because that's one thing that I'm really happy with. The S23 FE was the last device that Samsung released that had the old school, poppy, vibrant Samsung display. They've brought that back. Now, I've had to turn the vibrancy slider, or the vividness slider, I should say, all the way up on this guy. But once you do that, you have probably, I think, the best display that Samsung's put on a phone this year. It's not a quad HD and everything. I understand that. It's not even, I don't think it's even believe it's an LTPO. However, it's still a bright, vibrant, crisp display that you're absolutely going to love looking at. And to me, it's better than what I see color-wise and vibrancy-wise on the A55, on the S24 Ultra. So there is a win. The Exynos 2400E, no problems whatsoever. Runs cool, really nice, snappy, powerful, and power efficient. 4,700 milliamp hour battery in this guy, well over 8 hours of screen on time without breaking a sweat. That's what I wanted to see because I knew Exynos had started to get better. I've seen the glow up between the 1380 and the 1480 in the A55. I saw the battery life that was possible. But now you add a bit more horsepower to this one. If you care about benchmarks, I don't. A little bit less powerful than a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. So when you start ramping up the horsepower, maybe some overheating would creep in. Perhaps some lackluster battery life would creep in. Not the case on either count. Really impressed with the battery life. Really impressed with the performance. Overall, this is a nice, snappy device. 8 gigs of RAM along with it. Samsung DeX, which is a huge deal for a lot of people. They don't put it on $1,000 flip phones, but they can put it here. And then, of course, Galaxy AI. So the 2400E runs Galaxy AI just fine. You get that sketch to image. You get the other thing that's like their magic editor that I played with, and it works fine and it's snappy on this device. You're getting the 7 generations of software updates, which is really nice. Camera, we'll go over that in the full review. Not amazing, better than last year, but I think that has more to do with the computational stuff that Samsung has added rather than the lenses themselves. Now, let's talk about the second part, the price. $650 for 128 gigs. You get S24 base 256 for like $750. You bring this up to 256 gigs, you're talking over $700. So you're talking less than a $40 gap between the S24 FE and the S24. S24, an objectively better device, more powerful device. You're going to get better cameras on that device. It's just overall a better value for less than a $50 difference. Smaller display. Okay, so if you're somebody who wants that 6.7-inch display, the largest display this year on the S24 FE, that might be something that'll sway you. But there's just too much in the Samsung lineup that competes with this. Now, they tried to protect this as best they could, not keeping the A55 out of the United States. I don't like that. I think it's a problem for them because if for $330, whatever you get on Amazon, the A55, it's a pretty close value, right? I don't think that this is $350 better than the A55. That becomes an issue. You have the OnePlus 12R, which becomes an issue at $500, which is objectively more powerful than this, but you're not getting the software updates, but you're not getting the fit and finish. So there's a lot to consider here. I think Samsung could have made this an easy slam dunk. $550. Yes, you're still at a premium on other mid-range devices, but you know what? You're worth it. You're worth it. So if you get it on a deal, if you're getting a good discount, if you're getting a $100 Best Buy gift card or something like that, link in the description, by the way, it does help the channel. Smooth segue. That's something that you consider. It's absolutely worth it. It's a good device. I like using it. It's smooth. It's actually a little thinner. It's the same weight, but it's actually a little thinner than my Galaxy A55. It just feels really good in the hand. Old school, always on display, which I like. There's no micro SD card expandable storage, which I know is a big deal for a lot of people. You'd like to see something like that on a fan edition. So there's a lot of things going on in my brain. Not a real fan edition. Doesn't feel like that. Overpriced. Galaxy AI is not really a selling point. Doesn't add any value to me. You can't tell me that Live Translate, Circle to Search, and whatever else is worth $150 premium, but I could get that on a Pixel 8a. I could get a lot of that on the A55. There has to be some reason why I'm spending extra money. But like I said, if you're getting it on a carrier deal, if you're getting it, if like the S24 is too much, or it's a big difference per month that you're paying, or you don't want to spend that extra money, or you don't care about 256 gigs of storage, or whatever it happens to be, then this phone might fill that gap for you. I'm just frustrated because it could have been an easy sell. This should have me jumping up and down. It's the best performing one of these devices that we've seen in a while. I do think it would have a nice spot in the lineup, but at $550. At $650, it just becomes a very difficult conversation with so many things around it that are offering similar or better specs for not that much more. And don't talk to me about the iPhone, whatever. Let me tell you something about that. Nobody walks into a carrier store and says, you know what, I've been using an iPhone for 8 years. I have all my friends on iMessage. I have all my stuff on iCloud. I have an Apple Watch. I have an iPad, whatever else. But, I was going to stick with an iPhone till I saw this S24 FE. Nobody's saying that. That's not a thing. Apple's in its own universe. This is competing against Pixel 9, if you want to like Pixel 8a, something like that. It does have a place. It does offer value. I just wish it were a better price. The TLDR is going to be buy it on sale. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.